I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin, into the midst of the furnace. To do what? To blow the fire upon it, to melt it. So will I gather you in mine anger, and in my fury I will leave you there and melt you. It's all very well for us to go fighting and killing people, but there's a problem. Because as I said in the video, there's a God in heaven. Look at that video. He's watching. He's taking account. We are accountable. You know, it's our tax money that's funding the war efforts everywhere. It's our tax money that's creating the weapons. So we have a responsibility. At the very least, we should be praying against what is going on. At the very least. But we have a responsibility. It says in Ezekiel 22:21, Yea, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof. And ye shall know that I, the Lord, have poured out my fury upon you. In verse 25, Ezekiel 22, there is a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have devoured souls, they have taken the treasure and precious things, they have made her many widows in the midst thereof. Didn't I start out saying that, you know, we have people like Hagee, John Hagee, baying for blood. It says it here. Like a roaring lion ravening the prey. They have made her many widows in the midst of her. I had the thought about the Widowmaker. And the Widowmaker has been around for 40 years. It's a gun. It's an automatic rifle. That's what it looks like. What a name, eh? The Widowmaker. 800 rounds a minute. Yes, they set out to kill us with the most sophisticated weapons. That's old. That's 40 years ago. Now we have airburst bombs that disperses fuel across a wide area, then it ignites it and just destroys everything in the most horrific way. There's all sorts of things. I'm not here to go through the different types of weapons, but you know, we have a lot more weapons and weapon systems than we have systems set up to help people. In verse 26, her priests have violated my law and have profaned my holy things. They have put no difference between the holy and the profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am profaned amongst them. Verse 27, her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves, ravening the prey, to shed blood, and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. Can you see it? Back to James, lusting and coveting what isn't ours. And according to the New Testament, everybody says Old Testament, well, according to the New Testament, to lust and to covet is the same as to steal. It takes place in the mind, just like with adultery. You don't have to sleep with somebody, you just have to think it. So here we have got a serious, serious problem. Her princes, those are the leaders. I referred to at the beginning, the basest of men. I don't care which designer suit you have on. Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves, ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. Then it goes on to say, and her prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar, seeing vanity, and divining lies unto them, saying, Thus saith the Lord God, when the Lord hath not spoken. Of course, Christianity is driving forward this war against the Muslims. I have nothing against anyone. I have nothing against, well, I should say churchianity. I have nothing against anyone. These are all people like myself, like you. The same hopes, the same desires, the same wanting of food, warmth, shelter, food, drink, peace. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery, and have vexed the poor and the needy. Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. Yes, you tell me it's Old Testament, but doesn't that exactly, precisely state what is going on right now? People who are strangers, we are oppressing. We're going into their country. They didn't ask us there. It says here, wrongfully oppressed. The following verse 30 of Ezekiel 22 says, And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap for me, the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. That's telling us that all our churches and all that, not actually pleasing God, is it? He said, I'm looking for some upright people to stand, not even many, for one. And he couldn't find one. So we have just become dross. Only good to be destroyed. That's what God is saying. And in verse 31, Therefore have I poured out mine indignation upon them, I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath, their own way have I recompensed upon their heads, saith the Lord. Isaiah 9:15, The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. You should take some of these scriptures and write them out and stick them on your door. The prophet teacheth lies. The leaders of this people. See where the blame goes? The leaders.